Good morning, everyone. My name is Matthew Hogg, and I will be presenting our findings on Nigeria to you this morning. The other contributing members of the team in the room with us today are Lalana, Mason, and Johnny. By utilising Hofstede's cultural dimensions analysis tool, we gained insights into the differences between Nigeria and the United States, with the goal to establish a successful integrated working relationship. We noticed two areas which vary enough to cause a need for internal focus. A score of 80 for power distance indicates that Nigerians expect layers of authority within a company and hold high regard for the leadership. It will be important to match authority levels during the negotiations with Nigerian companies and government. Nigerian lower tier employees are less likely to report issues or speak up with improvement ideas. By asking questions about each employee's positions, duties, strengths, concerns, and any suggestions they may have, the feeling of being valued and known could potentially help soften the lines of distinction and inequality. Individualism is another area of disparity. Nigeria scores 30 in sharp contrast to the United States score of 91. This indicates that Nigerians value a sense of belonging and responsibility to a group. Competition will not entice Nigerian employees to increase their work ethic, yet building a team and creating a feeling of community would help bridge the gap between the US individualistic mentality and the communal nature of Nigerians. Nigerians use implicit communication, meaning that they use actions, gestures, and symbols as well as speech to convey a message, whereas people from the United States tend to communicate vocally and verbally. Some cultures are very direct at providing negative feedback, considering it constructive and necessary for improvement. The United States and Nigeria have a commonality in this area. Nigerians prefer to be non-confrontational in their disputes and debates. The tendency is to avoid any conflict, fearing it will damage harmony and unity. The United States stands neutral, though it leans towards confrontation with the belief that it is good to disagree and express your own thoughts. It is important to understand how cultures treat time. Structured scheduling tends to be a strength in developed countries who believe that time is money. The structured mindset does not like change or alternating schedules. The United States believe in structured time schedules and linear appointments. However, developing countries like Nigeria tend to be more flexible with their scheduling, believing it makes productive, happy, and efficient employees. There are many cultural differences to be aware of. Nigerians use implicit communication and have a communal mindset, meaning individuals rely on the opinions and wisdom of those around them. American managers should understand how Nigerian people communicate to aid understanding and build trust. Contract negotiations can be contingent on the building of relationships and take time and patience. Flexibility will show good faith on our part and help foster strong relationships. Respect is key. Corruption and bribery are known issues within Nigerian culture. Gifts and grease payments are allowed within certain circumstances, so a working knowledge of the firm's policy on this is essential. Always act with integrity. Nigeria gained independence from the United Kingdom in October 1960, but the process unleashed a power struggle of epic proportions. In January 1966, Nigeria's democratic government was overthrown in a violent military coup. The coup exposed the vulnerability of the Nigerian state and how simple it was to use soldiers to attack the government rather than protect it. There would be a further 7 coups over the following 30 years. Most elections since 1999 have been regular, generally free and credible, although violence is a lingering feature of elections in Nigeria. Some commentators say Nigeria is not currently a true democracy due to its entrenched political class, its dwindling electoral participation, popular suspicion of the ruling class, shrinking civil liberties, and weak democratic institutions. The next round of democratic elections is set for February 25th of this year and is being contested by 18 candidates, so it will be interesting to see the outcome. The Index of Economic Freedom is an annual index and ranking created by the Heritage Foundation and the Wall Street Journal to measure the degree of economic freedom in the world's nations. Nigeria's economic freedom score is 54.4, making its economy the 124th freest in the index. Nigeria is ranked 23rd among 47 countries in the sub-Saharan African region, and its overall score is above the regional average but below the world average. Corruption amongst custom and port officials and others interferes with business freedom. It's hard to run a business or to be gainfully employed in the locales where violence and murder are common occurrences. Nigeria has two preferential trade agreements in force. The trade-weighted average tariff rate is 8.2% and one formal non-tariff measure is in effect. However, barriers to trade and investment persist in the form of bureaucratic delays. Investment in Nigeria would not be without an element of business risk, but it presents an interesting opportunity to enter a market with huge growth potential. Strategic partnerships and robust procedures carefully executed would enable us to reduce the likelihood of negative outcomes. Those interested in starting a business in Nigeria need to obtain a business registration certificate and business permit from the Federal Ministry of the Interior. Limited liability companies are the most common structure in Nigeria. An employee is seen as a resident for tax purposes if the employer is operating in Nigeria. Notable taxes include hydrocarbon tax, petroleum profits tax, and information technology tax. Capital gains tax is 10% on most gains, although exceptions exist and there are tax credits and incentives for foreign investors. Employee relationships are governed by contract under the Labour Act of Nigeria. According to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD, it takes an average of 7 business days to start a business in Nigeria versus the global average of 9 days. The average time to enforce a contract is estimated at around 399 days versus the average global time, according to the OECD, of 650 days. A most favoured nation clause requires a country providing a trade concession to one trading partner to extend the same treatment to all. The clause and its principle of universally equal treatment underpin the World Trade Organization. From a global economic and trading standpoint, Nigeria is very small and classified as a frontier market. The most favoured nation status helps level the import-export playing field and makes international trade possible for Nigeria. Their primary trading partners are the European Union, India, Canada, the United States, and Malaysia. As with all countries, the exact nature of the tariffs, levies, and duties depend on what is being traded. Nigeria has established free trade areas, but use is contingent on the majority of items manufactured there being exported. Nigeria is a country with many challenges. Its gross domestic product is expected to fall in 2023 due to a number of factors. Oil production has declined, as has the price per barrel, lowering overall income. Inflation has been on the rise due to food supply problems, import cost hikes, and a rise in production costs generally. However, inflation is expected to moderate next year as the effects of 2023 fall out of the calculations and prices begin to normalise. Economic consensus projects that the country's high monetary policy rate is expected to moderate in 2024 along with inflation. The US State Department has said that security remains a concern to investors in Nigeria due to violent crime, kidnappings for ransom, and terrorism in certain parts of the country. The Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission Act of 1995 dismantled controls and limits on foreign direct investment, allowing for 100% foreign ownership of local businesses. Free trade zones were designed to attract foreign direct investment, increase foreign exchange earnings, promote technology transfer, and develop export-orientated industries in Nigeria. Foreign investors can set up businesses directly in foreign trade zones without going through the process of incorporating a company in the customs territory. Appeasing the Nigerian government's protectionist tendencies can be achieved by utilizing free trade zones combined with sourcing materials and labor locally. In the year 2000, Nigeria and the USA signed a trade and investment framework agreement to monitor trade and investment relations, to identify opportunities for expanding trade and investment, and to identify issues relevant to trade or investment. Generally speaking, businesses like certainty. Where this is unlikely or not possible, they will often seek to put mechanisms in place to smooth out fluctuations that might risk their overall operations and/or profit margin. Based on the 5-year exchange rate comparison graph, the Naira has experienced strong fluctuations against the US dollar, making long-term planning difficult as repatriated profits will vary accordingly. We would look to utilize currency hedging and forward swaps as the means to smooth out these fluctuations and provide some degree of certainty in this regard. Nigeria has many issues affecting their currency: political interference, the actions of their central bank, ongoing security issues, high inflation, interest rates, and a reliance on foreign imports are all issues that combine into a huge problem in need of a solution. Nigeria imports peanuts from neighbouring countries, primarily India, and they are already established as a popular snack. Nigeria happens to be one of the largest countries in the world to produce and export cacao beans. We will support their economy by using locally grown beans and combining them with imported peanuts to make a delicious snack for the people to enjoy. The market for chocolate is growing exponentially, and Nigeria lacks products produced locally. Currently, the only similar product in the market are imported M&Ms. We will produce a superior product by using higher quality chocolate and having no outer shell. We will target an underserved market and gain a temporary competitive advantage. Due to the nature of the product, there will be no religious or cultural barriers to overcome. Nigeria is classified as a frontier market, discouraging some businesses from operating there and exacerbating unmet needs and already underserved local markets. The population is growing and salaries are increasing, meaning more people have a higher disposable income, which increases the demand for high-end products, particularly women's handbags. We would make strategic partnerships with high-end designers and open a store in the Palms shopping mall located in Lagos, the largest metropolis in Nigeria. There are few physical locations selling designer handbags. Our primary bricks and mortar competitor is over 400 miles away and does not currently stock products from any of the designers we are targeting. Our products are valuable and reasonably hard for Nigerians to source at the present time, giving us a temporary competitive advantage. Nigerians are increasingly looking to mimic Western cultures in relation to material items as status symbols, and designer handbags are becoming increasingly popular. Due to the nature of the product, there are no inherent cultural or religious barriers that we would need to overcome to sell or market this product. Nigeria suffers from an inconsistent electricity supply, making solar products a great alternative. Red light therapy is a newer treatment for muscle pain and healing that can be utilized while the wearer continues to function. Offering a solar-powered infrared sauna wrap would be a highly innovative item that is currently unavailable for Nigerians looking to utilize natural healing practices without the reliance on electricity. With low-income labourers, it is important they do not miss work due to treatments, injury or pain. This would be a pioneering product in the Nigerian market as it is completely non-invasive, less expensive than a doctor's visit and offers reliable convenience. It would target both an unmet need and an underserved market, giving us a temporary competitive advantage. That concludes our presentation today. We appreciate your time and will welcome any questions.